those Houston players that we're all rostering. So like your guys like Nico Collins, Tank Dell, CJ Stroud, man. I have CJ Stroud as one of my top QBs this week, man. The guy's averaging over 300 yards a game. He hasn't thrown very many interceptions, and with this banged up secondary, I think CJ Stroud's gonna make some noise.
Yeah, like CJ Stroud's been pretty good this year too. Like, outside of some of the matchups, he's been like really good. Questioning whether maybe he should have gone higher up in the draft than where he was. I think Houston got a good one, and as he gets more comfortable, I mean that's a nice start for all your fantasy guys on that team. Carolina's 0-6 coming into this, man. That's tough. Bryce Young, high pick. Really, the only bright spots on Carolina right now have been Adam Thielen. Miles Sanders has been disappointing, injured. Chuba Hubbard's there, but I was thinking we get a little bit more from Jonathan Mingo. You got Bryce Young and the Mingo with the rookie connection, but it hasn't really amounted to anything, man. This is a tough team to watch. And what's even worse for these guys, and I bring it up every time, is they have no first round pick, man. They traded that, and that's rough, man. You have incentive to win, and they're not even close to that.
Yeah, that's going to the Bears, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. The Bears need that, man. The Bears got a lot. You know what? The Bears have been playing better recently, but the Bears need that pick, man. So I say with Carolina, but and a lot of the topic has been did Carolina make a mistake by picking Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud? I just think C.J. Stroud has more weapons, man.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? C.J. Stroud has more weapons, so I think that's the difference. You can't really judge these guys. Like Trevor Lawrence had a horrible first year. Like I mean, Urban Meyer was his coach. He was too busy trying to date underage girls, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So I think Nico Collins, especially if you guys are playing DFS, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, those guys are smash starts this week. Damian Pierce should have a decent game as well, although I think this is going to be a game that both teams want to show their QBs. You know what I mean? It's the number 1, number 2 overall pick. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys like to air it out. So if you guys got a Nico Collins or something, I'm definitely starting him as a flex. I'm not saying take him over as your wide receiver 1, your wide receiver 2. But man, he can definitely make some noise on a DFS. He's priced pretty cheap. That might be someone that you want to get into your lineups. Again, I'm starting CJ Stroud. Another guy that's been surprising. Well, I guess not really surprisingly good, but he's been keeping it up. Dalton Schultz, man. Dalton Schultz has been playing pretty good, man. That might be a nice little prop bet for you guys if you guys want to do a Dalton Schultz touchdown. I think that's definitely somebody that can make you maybe a little bit of money there. So yeah, man, I'm starting Dalton Schultz. That's another guy that I really like this week. So yeah. Anything else? Right? Yeah, sit Miles Sanders. If you guys watch our video, we told you to sit Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, this is a smash start for Carolina running backs, but Miles Sanders is just not doing it for us. And watch, this is going to be the game that he pops off for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because he's not supposed to. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what's always happening. So, I get Air 21 with our first question of the day. Marquise Brown versus Baltimore or Lockett versus the Browns. Lockett's banged up, man. I think he's going to play, but Lockett's a little bit banged up. Marquise Brown, I love that revenge narrative, man. Against Baltimore, Arizona's going to be airing it out. Joshua Dobbs actually hasn't been that bad.
No, he hasn't been bad at all. There's been some games where he struggled, but that's expected. Marquise Brown, I think in half PPR is a wide receiver 28 on the year. He's been very consistent outside of last week. So that's probably the one thing that scares you. That's a tough call on my end there because both those defenses are really good. Even though the Browns are coming off giving up quite a few yards and points to the Colts last week and I think the week before that as well. That's a tough one, man. But yeah, I like where you're going with that. That revenge game narrative might be the one that sets it apart.
Bro, he's pissed, man. And he's good too. If you look at air yards, he's one of the top receivers for air yards. And if you expect him to be down as much, what happened last week? It was Baltimore was up 28-0 on the Lions. Lions actually have a good team. They actually have a pretty decent defense too. It's not like Lions had a bad defense. bro, they got slapped up by 28. And what happened? They had to start passing the ball a lot more. You know, and I think this is a positive game script for Marquise Brown. If I have Marquise Brown, I'm starting him confidently this week. Definitely over Lockett. Lockett's always, you know, I think they're in like the same range, like skill wise. Like Lockett has had like seven straight 1,000-yard seasons or something like that. So he's been pretty good. It's not like he's a bad option. Just that Cleveland secondary is so damn good. Like, like they're not gonna let up 38 points again. Like last week was an anomaly. It's not happening again. That defense is probably honestly like one of the best defenses, if not like top 3. I got them, San Francisco, and I know Dallas hasn't been the greatest, but like Dallas, Philly, like those are your top defenses. So I think for me, I'm probably going. Yeah, well, I'm not probably. I'm definitely going Marquise Brown. I love that revenge narrative. All right, so I think we got that one out of the way. Next game, let's go to Dallas versus the Rams. So you're starting Tony Pollard, obviously. He hasn't had the season that we thought he was gonna have, but you're still starting Tony Pollard. On the other side, running back Darrell Henderson, man. I'm getting a lot of questions about Darrell Henderson versus Dallas. Like, do you trust Darrell Henderson this week, bro?
I'm not gonna lie, I had him as a sit this week. If you see our video earlier on, I had him as a sit. I mean, he had 18 opportunities last week. I think Royce Freeman had 12. I just don't think they're going to be able to run the ball 30 times against this team this week. Dallas' defense is fantastic. Like, outside of it, a couple games where they, haven't been up to par. But, I mean, I think the Rams are going to throw the ball. Again, I think I brought this up as well. But Cooper Kupp is not going to have 29 yards again like he did last week. I probably, I'd bet that he gets a touchdown or at least a good chunk of yards this week. Puka Nacua, money in the bank, man. I love to see it because it's so cool.
The guy's target share has gone up since Cooper Kupp's gone back. Like, what do you mean, bro?
Yeah,
like
you got Cooper Kupp and he's still got more. That's crazy.
I think that's a test to, honestly, Cooper Kupp demanding so much attention that Puka's more open now.
Yeah. 100%.
Like he's just more open now, and a lot of people were shook, man. Like I was scared to trade for the guy. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna pop off, but he plays that Cooper Kupp role. Like I don't know, man. Like he's good, but you always see it. Like these guys that like they do pretty like that. Travis, you remember Travis Fulgham played for the Eagles?
Oh yeah, the Eagles.
Bro, he had a 3-week stretch where he looked like freaking Julio Jones, man.
That's right.
Like the good Julio Jones. You know what I mean? So like. Yeah, man, when you have somebody that's balling out like that and then they're doing all right. Another guy that I'm kind of like, oh man, I'm getting scared about Christian Watson, man. He went off for like 5 games last week. I keep thinking like, oh, like Christian Watson's gonna do well. Christian Watson's gonna do well, and he's been all right, but he hasn't been worthy of a 4th or 5th round pick. Like
no. That was basically, he was being drafted there simply because of his upside. There was so much potential there for him to do well. He's got the speed, he can, we saw last year where he can make some pretty incredible catches, but you're right, he's been underwhelming this year. It's been tough, but I mean, you still got to start him. You got to think he's still, within the top 2 options, maybe even the first option for Jordan Love. I mean, that's one that I'm a little bit confused about. I thought he'd be doing much better than he is. I don't have a ton of shares of him just because personally just my strategy is I'm not looking for like the craziest upside when there's not been as much production. So, I mean, there's that. But at the same time, I think the rest of the season, like there's going to be better days ahead for Christian Watson, I think.
Damn, man, I hope so for y'all fantasy managers. I faded. Man, honestly, I called this shit. Like, I called it, man. I was like, Christian Watson, I'm staying away from this guy. Jahan Dotson, I'm staying away from this guy. I hate drafting players that haven't proven it. And this year, I did the opposite of what I usually do. Instead of getting consistency, I went for upside, and it burned me, man. Like, a lot of these players, I'm like, oh, these guys are going to have a great year this year. And it's been burning me, man. But, like, my consistent players that usually, like, they do well every year, those are the guys that are producing for me right now. Like Mike Evans. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's consistent. So I'm like, okay, consistent on a yearly basis. On a weekly basis, he could scare the crap out of me. but on a yearly basis, he's consistent, man. And then I want to risk Alexander Madison. I'm like, oh, this guy's got all the upside, and it burned me, man. I went Alexander Madison over Breece Hall. So just like consistency, I think is the key there. Okay, so we got another question here, and like guys, like we will get to all your questions. I know sometimes if we're rambling, just say it in the comments, like, yo, shut up, answer my question.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. 100%.
We'll get to it. You know what I mean? So we got Shuttlesworth. Start Miles Sanders. It's him or Roshan. Start Roshan, man. Roshan's going against the Chargers. I think he's finally healthy. He had a concussion. Like, it wasn't like he tweaked his knee or he hurt his hand or anything like that. It wasn't an actual, like, I don't know, like, it is a physical injury, but like one of those lingering limb injuries. It was a concussion. You guys saw what Deontay Foreman's been doing, Deontay Foreman is not their future. Roshan is their future. So I think Miles Sanders, like, man, I'm putting Miles Sanders on the bench until he can prove to me otherwise. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Miles Sanders is going on my bench until he can prove me otherwise, or unless it's someone, like, completely worse than that. But, like, if it's either him or Roshan against the Chargers, I know that's a Sunday night game. If Roshan is for sure playing, which I think he is, you got to go Roshan Johnson there, man. What do you think? I know, again, Miles Sanders is your sit, right? So
yeah, I think I would sit Miles Sanders. I'd play Roshan. Like you said, we saw what Deontay Foreman did. There's going to be opportunity. It may even be a bit of a split. Like, Foreman may have earned himself enough playing time from last week, which is fine. But again, someone brought up as well that he's done this before, Deontay Foreman, and he's been in the league a while. He hasn't been able to prove that he can do this on a consistent basis. So I would go with Roshan, and like you said, he's their future. He's someone that the Chicago Bears are looking to feature and see what they have, and I think I would run Roshan out there. Like you said, concussion injury, so it's not something that, like, obviously very serious, but they're non-linear. So just because he was out for 2 weeks doesn't necessarily mean that, like, it's like a hamstring injury that he was questionable for the second week and then came back, and now there's a danger of re-injuring it. Obviously, with concussion, you could obviously it could happen at any time, but I'd be running Roshan out there just over Miles Sanders because I'm just completely out on him this week, even with the matchup that they've got.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then we got another question: Nico Collins, T. Higgins, or Jordan Addison? Man, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, good problems, man.
That's a good problem to have. Nico Collins, man. Nico Collins, again, like, that guy, he's got really good upside this week, man. Like, so if you could get all three of these guys in your lineup, like, I don't know who the hell is on the rest of your team, man. But, like, bro, that's good. Jordan Addison's been an absolute monster. It's hard to bench it. Like, I'm a T. Higgins owner. He hasn't done it yet. I think he's going to have a good game. If I had to rank those guys, fuck, man, this is tough. Who's Minnesota playing again this week? Minnesota's playing the Packers. Jeez, man.
For me, I think I would rank it as Jordan Addison number one. Kirk Cousins is playing phenomenal, and Addison has done it for weeks in a row now with JJ out. I think you just have to start him, even though it's like a little bit touchdown dependent. He's getting work. He's getting the high value touches. Kirk Cousins is playing amazing. There's less question marks for Addison than there is for T. Higgins and Nico Collins. So I'd probably go there. And then with Higgins and Collins, man, that's a tough one. Again, what you said yourself, like, I think he's going to have a good week, but I feel like we've been saying that for 7 weeks now.
Yeah, man.
For T. Higgins,
That's
right?
Off, man.
Yeah.
Yo, T. Higgins, bro, stop dropping the ball, man.
Yeah, but yo, he's getting the targets.
He's getting targets. He's got like 27 targets in his last 3 games. And he hasn't scored double digits. Like, bro, come on, man, catch the ball. You're a sick receiver. You're a wide receiver 1, man. Like, on any other team, you're a wide receiver 1, bro. You need to start catching those balls, bro. Get that Jerry Rice, stick them in your hands, bro, and do something with it, man. So, yeah, man, like, if I have to go between those 3 guys, it's going to be Addison, Collins, and then Higgins for me. Yeah, I'd love to say Higgins, man, but it's Addison, Collins, and Higgins for me. That's the way that it's going. And Higgins is going against San Francisco. I know they just got burned, but, like, I mean, Jamar Chase is there. And I think Jamar Chase is going to be the guy that might have the big game there. I'm hoping Higgins does something all right, but yeah, man, Higgins is the guy that's out there. So he says Mike Evans and DK are slotted in for wide receiver. Those three are my flex options. So I guess you've already played Evans. And you got you 11 points. Man, Mike Evans scared the crap out of me. What, one catch?
You and me both.
One catch for 7 yards, brother? Until like the third?
until that touchdown, right? Yeah.
Bro, don't piss me off, man.
Scary, bro. Yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
that was luckily he got that touchdown, man. I had a prop bet for Mike Evans to score a touchdown. I literally, man, I lost most of my bets that day, and that Mike Evans touchdown brought me back to breaking even. So, it wasn't a win, it wasn't a loss, it was a tie, but I'll take that over a loss any day. And then DK, yeah, you cannot play DK.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you have in common with those two guys, they're number ones. Mike Evans, DK, they're the number one on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Higgins and Collins. Oh, sorry, Higgins is not. So I think it's definitely between Nico Collins and Addison. What's that?
You know what, man? DK's going against Cleveland.
It's a tough matchup, bro. It's the same situation Lockett's in.
Man.
Yeah.
I might even start Collins and Addison, man. Depending on how bad you need to win. I'm not going to say that out loud, man. That Cleveland defense is just so damn good against the wide receiver, man. I know. Okay, so Michael Pittman last week had 2 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. One of them was on like a 70-yard catch and run where he broke 2-3 tackles.
Yeah.
And he took it to the house. And then Josh Downs was the guy that had a good touchdown. Again, 38 points. That Cleveland, man. You know what, man? Play your best players. They're your best players. Start DK there, and then Nico Collins or Addison. I think I'm gonna go Jordan Addison there. But again, that's a good problem, man. You can switch any one of these guys out in and out. I think out of everyone, Higgins is the odd man out between all 5 of those guys. But yeah, man. Oh man, you got some good wide receivers, bro. Yeah, league, I'd send you a trade, bro.
That's solid. Yeah, I think for situations like this, it's really important to just look at what you need out of the week. If you're playing a team that's projected to outscore you like crazy, go for that ceiling. Go for those guys that you think can give you the most points. But if you're going against a team where maybe you're projected to win or it's even a little bit close, you can go with that consistency. You have that ability to go with someone who's going to give you the best floor out of the guys that you need because you know that it's going to be a close matchup. But I think just kind of thinking of it logically like that will help a lot of people out in terms of their matchups. It's not just who should I start this week, because we can give you an answer, but really it depends on what you need. If you need a guy that's going to give you a ton of upside because you're a severe underdog, make that happen, man. Maybe you can make some magic happen with one of those people. I think that's really something to keep in mind when you're making these start-sit decisions on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, we're just giving you suggestions, man. You know what I mean? We're fantasy heads, man. I got 15 years in the game. I don't know how long you've been doing fantasy for, Sean, but I know it's been a long time. So we got a lot of experience in the game, but sometimes you just got to trust yourself, too, You did all your research at the beginning of the year. You do your research, you check all these channels out, and you watch everybody, and you take a little bit from everybody, right? But trust your gut too, because how many times do you listen to somebody even the pros, man? They get it wrong. You know what I mean? Man, I was listening to Sirius XM radio. And all the announcers were saying, "Oh, Mike Evans, over 80 yards, smash that, over 4 receptions, smash that." And what happens? Man, he got 3 catches for 39 yards and a garbage time touchdown. These guys are gonna tell you, "Oh, man, we were told start Keontae Ingram," and what happened? He didn't even touch the ball.
Yeah,
Jamal had 80% of the snaps. And the other 20% went to Chase Edmonds. Keontae Ingram didn't even touch the damn ball. Sometimes we get it right. We just give you we give you an educated response. Mr. Shuttlesworth, I don't do research. I just watch the Game Day Goons.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
My boy Shuttlesworth.
Yeah, man. Shout out Shuttlesworth, man. Maybe we need to get you a Game Day Goons t-shirt or something, man. Because y'all respect for that, but you should also do some research. I love the comment, homie, but you should do some research too, man. We do some research, man. The way I see things might not be the way that you see things. sometimes we disagree. Like me and Snowman last week, we disagreed on a lot of things, and sometimes I was right, sometimes he was right. Like we're going over it, right? And sometimes he's right, sometimes I'm right. Like man, like the tiebreaker, flip a coin or do some research, and then maybe you can get that off. Okay, so let's play a game here. So if you had to start in your flex, if you had a Daryl Henderson against Dallas or DeMarcado against Baltimore, who are you starting?
Damn, I'd probably go Henderson there, even though he was my sit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just, that Arizona team, I think they're going to be caught in a negative game script where they're going to need to throw the ball a lot. And it's going to rely a lot on Joshua Dobbs. Like, Baltimore shut down the Lions. I just can't stop thinking about it, man. Like, the Lions have been good, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And they looked like garbage against this Baltimore team. Lamar Jackson was in a league of his own. I mean, I think that's where I'd probably go then just because of that. But we've seen DeMarcado get a lot of work. Daryl Henderson's going to have to split a little bit. That's a tough call, but I'd probably still stick with I'd go with Henderson there, I think.
True. You know what, man? Okay, so a little fun fact. DeMarcado had 80% of the snaps last week. He was getting some catching work, too. I see them getting smashed up, man. Honestly, Daryl, you know what? They trust Daryl Henderson. I can see them giving the ball to Daryl Henderson at the goal line. But Royce Freeman did get a lot of touches, too.
He did, yeah.
That's why I get shook sometimes. I think both these guys are kind of like. I might have to agree with you on the Daryl Henderson just because he knows the system and everything, and hopefully
he's got that background with
they go back. Yeah, that DeMarcado, man, Arizona just sucks. We got another question from Mr. Jim Bob. All right, Jim Bob. What is that, Jim Bob Cooter?
It's gotta be Cooter. The Detroit legend.
The old Detroit offensive coordinator. Yeah. That Gardner Minshew or Desmond Ritter this week?
Down bad.
Yeah. So they got Gardner Minshew versus New Orleans. Desmond Ritter versus Tennessee. Who are you starting there?
Oh man.
Should we make another bet? Gardner Minshew 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Bro, $50 bet will bring you home $1,000 on that. Isn't that crazy?
Damn, bro. I might have to throw a little something on that then.
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
Just on that,
Yo, honestly, I feel like I'm crazy for saying this after last week, but I might even go Ritter here.
Yeah.
Ritter he's surprised me the last few weeks. The only problem, obviously, everyone's talking about is Arthur Smith, man. This guy loves to run the ball. Desmond Ritter did some work last week. He's able to throw the ball really well, too. Drake London and Kyle Pitts have had somewhat of a bit of a resurgence this year, which has been really nice to see because it was so demoralizing seeing all of these targets that are unreal on the field and just not get any work or anything like that. It's tough, I would say, but I think I'd probably go Ritter there and say Minshew just kind of, we'll call it a fluke last week. But, like, man.
I'm giving one of these, but one finger over to Arthur Smith for his confidence. Like, one of these, but one finger over to Arthur Smith, man. Bro, first of all, don't piss me off. I drafted Bijan Robinson in the first round. You don't even tell me the guy has a head cold or a migraine or whatever until, like, the half where the announcer's like, maybe something's wrong with him. And now, rightfully so, y'all are getting investigated. So a big one finger over to you, buddy. And then the other thing also, he comes out and he says, I don't care about your fantasy teams. I'm going to play the hot hand. If you want me to yell out what I'm going to do every time to make your fantasy teams happier, I'll do it. But if Tyler Algier has the hot hand, I'm giving him 15 carries over Bijan Robinson. I do not care about your fantasy teams. And Sal's got a question. Sal, I'll get back to you in a second. I just want to go over this. Bro, screw you, Arthur Smith. No one's watching the freaking Falcons play. Like, let's be real. Like, the only reason why these shit teams actually get people to come watch them is because of fantasy football. Like, bro.
That's what makes you relevant.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, if you're a trash team, like, man, like, who's watching the Panthers play right now that doesn't have Adam Thielen or Chuba Hubbard on their team, right? Yeah. Like, who's watching the Bears play that doesn't have Justin Fields or DJ Moore? Who's watching the Broncos play who has nobody good in fantasy but freaking Cortland Sutton? Like, Cortland Sutton? Like, nobody's watching these teams play, man. And honestly, Broncos suck. I'm a Raiders fan. Broncos suck. You should watch the Broncos anyway. But I'm just saying, Arthur Smith, bro. Like, you're not giving Kyle Pitts the ball. You did for a couple weeks, and he started snapping, and he was catching balls, and you started winning. Yes, this is my daily Kyle Pitts rant. You started giving him the ball, and then you stopped. Jonnu Smith was catching passes. Drake London was freaking balling out. You know, like, you started giving these guys the ball, and oh my God, oh shit, you're winning games. And now you're like, I don't care about your fantasy teams. Cool, bro. Why don't you go sign me and Sean to the practice squad? No one's watching us play either. I used to play running back and receiver back in high school. I'll go out there and line up at receiver and block. You're not going to throw me the ball anyway. Man, I hate Arthur Smith. I don't think there's any, actually, there's one other person I hate more than Arthur Smith, and that's stupid Josh McDaniels.
All right, that's fair. That's a fair one. Yeah.
But anyways, sorry, man. Back to your fantasy lineups. My bad. I'm starting Desmond Ritter.
Yo, one more thing on Atlanta. I think one more thing on Atlanta, and the thing that bothers me the most is that Arthur Smith has a leg to stand on because they're winning. They're 4-3 right now. So the problem is when they're 2-1, and when they had some wins under their belt, and people question him about not getting Pitts the ball or London the ball, he's like, you know what, we're winning. What are you trying to say? Like, yeah, we could do better, or we could do other things, but we're winning. So he had that as kind of like a crutch to stand on. I love the fact that they're actually now throwing the ball a little bit more, and he's seeing that maybe, oh shit, we could actually move the ball a little bit more if we get the ball to our good players, man. Yeah, I feel you. I just wanted to point that out as well. It's just, it sucks because if they started losing, then like, okay, we got to switch something up. We got to do something different. But they're winning. I mean, 4-3 is not a fantastic record, but it's more than what I expected for them at this point, right? I mean,
bro, like, I'd say it's looking like that division is going to be a tight race to the end. Man, it's just, okay, like, I don't know. Anyways, man, I don't want to ruin the whole morning.
Yeah, we'll move on.
How stupid Arthur Smith is. I'm starting Desmond Ritter. Actually, a couple quick prop bets, and this is not financial advice. Bet at your own risk. At Desmond Ritter over 11 rushing yards. He likes to run the ball a lot. Tennessee is really good against the run. They have a decent pass rush. They're the back end is where they're bad, like their corners and safeties. So this might be a pass-heavy game. He might have to rush out the pocket a little bit. So I got Ritter over 11 yards rushing, and that's like plus. I think it's like you get like double your money back. And then a sneaky other play, Desmond Ritter anytime TD is 5 times your money. So, and he's been getting it. They've been running play action at the goal line, and he's been running the ball, man. So, yeah, man, that might be some prop bets that you want to kick in there. So, anyways, back to Sal. Sorry, man. I know we took forever on that. I was just, like, pissed off. I actually care about this shit. Full PPR, DJ Moore against the Chargers or Garrett Wilson against the Giants? I'm going DJ Moore against the Chargers, man. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Tyson Bagent, Travis Bagent, whatever, man. Division 2 is good enough to beat the Raiders' ass. I'm starting that guy. I'm not starting that guy. I mean, I'm starting DJ Moore over that. DJ Moore against the Chargers is a smash start, in my opinion. They're going to be down. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Garrett Wilson against the Giants. Yes, he does have a good matchup. The over-under on that game is only 34.
Yeah, brutal.
What's it called? Daniel Jones is going to be out. I heard he has some numbness in his neck, which is never good for neck injuries. Prayers out to Daniel Jones and his family. You know what I mean? I know we rip on some of these players sometimes, but what we're ripping on your performance, we don't know the actual human, So prayers up to Daniel Jones and his family. I hope he's all right. But with Tyrod Taylor, they actually look better.
I was gonna say, man, I almost take your time, Danny Dimes, bro. Like Tyrod Taylor has been really good.
Yeah,
and,
Darren Waller's
at least for the pass catchers,
man.
Yeah, so I have Darren Waller in one of my leagues, and man, I was so happy to see that because he could do that on a week-to-week basis. Maybe not 16 points because he had the touchdown, but he can be consistent on a week-to-week basis.
He's their best.
He's a good tight end. Yeah, straight up.
Their best receiver, man. But yeah, if I'm picking DJ Moore, the Giants and the things over under is 34, so I'm expecting it to be a low scoring game. I think this is more of a Breece Hall game.
Like, yeah, I agree. I think it's Breece Hall that gets.
I have Breece Hall as a top 5 running back this week. PPR, not PPR, half PPR. I have Breece Hall as a top 5 play this week for running back, man. For sure. So yeah, man, DJ Moore, that's a smash shot. You know what? Even Darnell Mooney looked good last week. And I don't know if that's a test of the Raiders just being so bad, or
probably is.
Yeah, Tyson Badger. Like, who the hell is this guy, bro? Don't piss me off, bro. Raiders, man, get your shit together.
Yeah, I'd probably go DJ Moore there as well. Chargers defense is nothing special. Giants, they're a little bit better, but again, it's Zach Wilson throwing to Garrett Wilson. You're probably looking for a touchdown to kind of save the day. So I'd go with DJ Moore there.
I got a question for you. Not DJ Moore. Sorry, Garrett Wilson against the Giants or Nico Collins against the Panthers. Who are you starting there?
I'd go Collins, I think.
Nico Collins?
Yeah, Nico Collins there.
Yeah, that's a match. Okay, Garrett Wilson or Darrell Henderson. We're picking on Darrell Henderson this week. That's what we're picking on.
At that point, I'd probably go Garrett Wilson because you're probably looking for a touchdown from each of them to save your day, and I just have a little bit more faith in Garrett Wilson, but it's not much. That one's super close, I think, but I would personally go Garrett Wilson.
And then I got asked another question. My boy Juizy, who's in first or tied for first or something with you. Juizy was asking me. He says, "Who do I start this week? Darrell Henderson or Gus Edwards?" So Gus Edwards against Arizona. Darrell Henderson over against Dallas.
Probably go Gus Edwards here.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Just a quick correction too. I am in sole first place right now in that league.
Oh,
for second. You know what it is. The Goons are out here.
Yeah, man. I took a tough loss against you last week, man. That was a close game.
That was close, man. It came down to Madison at the end there, right?
Yeah.
Every time he touched the ball, I kind of held my breath. You know, it's
bro, you almost had 2 touchdowns last week.
Literally so close, bros.
If he gets those 2 touchdowns, I win that game.
No doubt.
It's been tough in our home league, man. Too many injuries have derailed my season. I'm 5-2 in other leagues, 2-5 in that league. So,
man, it's a 14-team league, super competitive too. If you look at the wire and the top pickups, no one is available. You got to be a week or 2 early if you want to have a chance. It's insane.
Bro, someone just picked up a Mexican running back for the Washington. Nothing against Mexicans. I'm just saying. His name's Rodriguez. I'm guessing he's a Hispanic player. You know. I've never heard of this guy in my life. Yo, I actually love Hispanic people, bro. But I'm just saying, I don't even know who this guy is, and someone's picking this guy up.
Picking him up,
playing him this week.
Yeah, Keaton Mitchell was picked up 3 weeks ago. He's been dropped now because of the re-injury, but this is the type of league that we're in, right? So it is tough, but yeah, 100%.
It's been tough pickings.
Oh yeah. There's one game that I wanted to get your thoughts on because I think it's going to be a good one, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags are 5-2.
4-2, man.
Yeah, exactly, bro. That's what I'm thinking. And okay, one thing I want to say about Pittsburgh that I just need to really give out some flowers is Mike Tomlin, man. Mike Tomlin is the rock for Pittsburgh. He is so good at what he does, man. 4-2 for this Pittsburgh team that hasn't had Deontay Johnson for weeks on end. Yeah. This is insane. They have Kenny Pickett at their quarterback, who's nothing special.
And Najee Harris has been trash.
Najee Harris has been awful, and yet they're 4-2. Like, man, we got to give this guy his flowers because it is insane. Consistently, every year, he has this team performing at the highest level. I love seeing it because it's just one of those things where, like, you look at their record and you're like, wait, they're 4-2? How is that possible? But they just find a way to win, and I think it starts with coaching at Tomlin, and I just want to give a big shout out there because I think it doesn't get talked about enough, especially with the adversity that they've had to overcome so far this year. Yeah. Now they get the Jaguars, who have been playing really well. Trevor Lawrence has been doing well. ETN has been eating. This is going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, bro. I think that's what ETN stands for, bro. Eating, bro.
Yeah.
If we need to stop calling him ETN and just start calling him Eating, bro, because that's what he's doing, man. That guy's balling out, bro. That's gonna be a smash matchup too, man. I think Deontay Johnson is back this week. Freiermuth is still out.
He's on the IR now.
Yeah, so man, that was another guy I lost to injury, but Freiermuth is out. The other tight end there, Washington. So they had 29 dropbacks and he ran 28 routes. So that might be a sneaky little tight end pickup because I know tight end sucks right now. George Pickens, you got to start the guy. You know what, though? But Jacksonville, man, they have a pretty good defense. Jacksonville is one of those guys. Another plus money play. Kenny Pickett over a touchdown. Over one interception. Or no, over half an interception. My bad. Over half an interception.
You just got to get one. Yep.
Then double your money, man. That's a smash. I might parlay that, man. Because I think that's a smash. That's a free win, man. I've been smashing my picks on these interceptions.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Man, I've been winning money every week, like $150, $200 a week, just on betting on people to get interceptions, man. And I think that's a good bet to make Kenny Pickett interception, because Jacksonville has pretty good amount of takeaways. They have a good pass rush. The Steelers' offense isn't even really that good.
No.
And you know what? Credit to Jacksonville, man. Jacksonville's been friggin' balling out too. Christian Kirk smash matchup, man. I think Christian Kirk is the wide receiver one on that team. He's surpassed Calvin Ridley, man. All the hype was on Calvin Ridley. People are forgetting about the consistency of Christian Kirk. Double digits every week, but week one.
Unreal.
Yeah. I might even put $100 down on a Christian Kirk touchdown this week, man. That's how nice I'm feeling. Just because, man, he's doing so well. Every week they have his catch over under at 4. Every week they have his touchdown at +3 or +4 odds. Man, Christian Kirk, as good as the Pittsburgh's defense is, their pass defense has been absolutely atrocious outside of Joey Porter Jr. Who's going to match up against who? Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, man. After week 1, Calvin Ridley was looking like, his old self and even better, man. And then since then, it's just been like a fall from grace almost. It's like back to reality, and he's just not been there. Like, not as many targets. The guy's just disappeared on the field. Like, it's crazy to see. But Christian Kirk has been that real consistent player. He's been unreal, man. I can't get over it. And I will take the L on that because I was not high on Kirk at the start of the year, just because I thought Ridley would come in and take that number 1 work. But man, Kirk and Lawrence got that nice connection.
Yeah, I picked Lockett over Christian Kirk in my one league. Just because I was like, you know what, man? Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith is the truth. Calvin Ridley's there. Who knows? And, man, I made a mistake by not picking Christian Kirk. Even though Tyler Lockett's been good. It's not like Tyler Lockett's been bad.
No, not at all.
Christian Kirk's just been better.
Yeah.
I think he's wide receiver 14 on the year. So
I can't remember exactly, but somewhere up there. I was looking at his fantasy point output for the last every week, and it's just been consistently basically double digits, like money in the bank, man, every time.
Yeah, for sure, man, bro. That's gonna be a good game. I'm starting Trevor Lawrence this week. I think he's gonna have a pretty good week. Zay Jones is out. Man, another sneaky pick, man. If you could get Jamal Agnew on catches, man, he was getting the ball a lot last week. I had Jamal Agnew for a touchdown last week, and it was 10 extra money. And he slipped and he fell at the 2 yard line, pissing me off. But I mean, hey man, that's a guy that returns punts, he returns kicks, and he was getting the ball. He had 5 catches for like something, like I think it was like 4 catches for 50 yards or something last week. So Jamal Agnew might be a sneaky little pick there if you're a betting man. Okay, we got about 2 minutes. I just quickly want to get into the Chiefs and the Broncos game. The reason why it's supposed to be heavy snowfall in that game.
Oh, interesting.
That's it. That's supposed to be the first snow game of the year. So, so I have Rashee Rice as a starter, but like I started him, that was before I knew the weather. You might want to put some props on like whoever those running backs are. In cold games, running backs do really well. Mahomes is really good in any weather. I've seen him in cold games and he snaps anyway. I think Travis Kelce is going to be good. Taylor Swift is at the game. In games where Taylor Swift's there, he's over 100 yards and 6 catches. So that might be another prop bet you guys want. Again, this is not financial advice, but I just want to let you guys know that that is a snow game. So Pacheco, that bumps him up in my rankings. And then quickly to the nighttime game, it's your Bears versus your Chargers. Quentin Johnson, I'm still not playing him. The Bears, I guess Sal's starting Roschon, so you might want to start Roschon in there. On the Chargers side of things, I'm starting everybody except for Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, one thing I guess we can mention real quick is how disappointing Austin Eckler's been this year. And it kind of sucks because he was like a top 5, top 7 pick in fantasy drafts. He's been underwhelming. He's not getting the work. He didn't look nearly as good as he usually does last week. Josh Kelly got that long touchdown. It wasn't even Eckler. He's just not been getting the same work. I'm hoping it's just a result of the injury and they're going to ease him back in. But, I mean, that's been kind of disappointing. But, again, you're starting him. Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen's been an absolute monster. You start him. I wouldn't start Quentin Johnson either. And then on the Chicago side, you got DJ Moore, Justin Fields, maybe Darnell Mooney if you're in a pinch, but I wouldn't go that far personally.
True.
Yeah.
I know we said we were going to hop off, but we got a couple more questions in here, so I'm good to stay on if you are, Sean. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's
All right,
do it.
so we got our boy Nathan H back for at least the 3rd week in a row. Let's go, Nathan H. Shout out to you, brother. He's saying, should he start Taysom Hill? It's a standard league, or pick up Darren Waller?
In a standard league, this is something that kind of makes a difference. So Waller's status just got updated to healthy. He's been questionable week to week just with the hamstring injury. It's the same thing from the beginning, so it doesn't really concern me at this point. He's coming off of a big week. Taysom Hill, man, he's one of those guys that I think like he'll have a good game and then he'll have like a mediocre game, and then it's super inconsistent. You can't really rely on that. So I would probably start Waller just for like that guaranteed work that he's going to get. But again, in a standard league, Taysom Hill, that's basically like you're looking for a touchdown or 2, and I definitely think that's possible.
Yeah, if there's one position that the Jets are really bad at, it's against the tight ends. They're not very good. With Tyrod Taylor playing in this game, man, I think I'm leaning Waller. Because with Tyrod Taylor in the game, Waller's been playing better. Taysom Hill, man, Taysom Hill's one of those guys, though. You never know where to gauge him. I actually had him as one of my starts this week. Just because, man, like, he's going against, what is that? He's going against the Colts, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Taysom Hill against the Colts. They like using him at the goal line. They like using him in random plays and stuff, and like or on 3rd downs and short. They like him, and he can always break a run. So the rushing yard upside, that's a good problem to have, man. I think they're pretty neck and neck there, but it depends on how bad you need the win. If you need the more solid floor, I think Taysom Hill will give you the more solid floor. But man, it's funny. I remember you asked this last week. Like, should I drop Waller for Taysom Hill? and you know what? They both had really good games.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think Waller ended up outscoring him in a half PPR, but even in standard, I think that would be the same. And so I think I would lean Waller here, Nathan.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning Waller, but this is super close for me. I'd say go with your gut feeling on this one, man.
Okay.
I'd say go with your gut feeling on this one.
Yeah. And we've got Dala G asking about quarterback situations here. He's asking about Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud. Lawrence plays the Steelers. Stroud plays the Panthers.
Okay, so I'm starting Trevor Lawrence this week. I benched him last week actually for Baker Mayfield, just because I didn't know what was going on with his knee. But he looked really good. No interceptions. I think he had like 288 yards or something like that, and a couple touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence did look pretty good. And he rushed the ball, which was very surprising to me because he said they weren't planning to. Safe play, Trevor Lawrence, upside CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think this is probably the first time we disagreed all show, but I'd probably go CJ Stroud.
I think I'm going CJ Stroud. I don't have CJ Stroud, but I'm going CJ Stroud here too. Just because, again, you have J.C. Horn is out, Jeremy Chin is out, Xavier Rhodes is banged up. The Houston receivers are healthy. I'm going C.J. Stroud for the upside, but I don't hate the Trevor Lawrence just because Pittsburgh's defense is really good, and they create a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
And if Trevor Lawrence, and I hate that this is a thing, if Trevor Lawrence gets sacked, which he will, any one play can knock him out of that game, and then he's down by injury, and we never pray injury for anybody. But the Steelers have a really good front seven. So I think I'm going with C.J. Stroud. If I had the choice, C.J. Stroud over Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're talking about Nico Collins, got Tank Dell.
Robert Woods is out.
Yeah, that's right. But I think the Panthers are 0-6. They're not very good. I don't expect them to win. I think Stroud can really eat these guys up. So I'd play Stroud here this week.
Especially, again, we talked about it, right? QB1 versus QB2, number 1 and number 2 overall draft picks. I think this is like a pissing contest for who's a better QB, man. And honestly, I think they both passed the eye test. So CJ Stroud is who I'm going there. Okay, so PPR we got from Pigskin 75 on Sleeper. Need to start 2, maybe a third as a flex. Calvin Ridley, Rashee Rice, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, or Julio Jones. Sit Julio Jones.
Yep, right away I'm knocking Julio Jones out of there.
So Julio Jones is out. Need to start 2, maybe third. Rashee Rice against Denver. That's a snow game. So I don't know. That kind of scares me. I don't want to start Pickens and Deontay Johnson.
Yeah. I'd probably want to go with one of the two. The problem is figuring out which one of the two.
Yeah.
But again, so these questions that we're getting are obviously questions that we don't get, context with them. So like, who else is going to be on your team? Who else, like, who are you playing? But again, it really comes down to what do you need? Like, I think Deontay Johnson got a safer floor and Pickens has a higher ceiling. That's just my personal opinion.
It's PPR, right? Like, that's the thing. When it comes to PPR, you never know. I'm starting Pickens, man. Pickens for sure is the one guy out of all of those guys. For sure, I'm starting Pickens, man. He's just too good. Even though it is PPR, like I could see him going like 4 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. In a PPR, that's 17 points, right? But Deontay Johnson, I could see him getting like 8 catches for like 35 yards. You know what I mean? Especially with Freiermuth being out. But I like Pickens there. I'm gonna sit on my pick and I'm gonna go Rashee Rice in there as well. Even though it is a snow game, Patrick Mahomes likes Rashee Rice. He's consistently getting more targets. He's getting more of a snap share percentage. And Mahomes, again, I say this every week, he told Kansas City to draft Rashee Rice. So Rashee Rice is there, and you gotta play Calvin Ridley, man. I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, you're not happy about it. You're not going crazy about it. But I think that's. Yeah, I think that's fair.
He says, I also have options as RB to flex. Any help is greatly appreciated. I'd like to know who your RBs are, man. That might change some things. But again, okay, so Pittsburgh's pass defense is really bad, but Joey Porter's really good. So I expect Jacksonville to move Calvin Ridley around and hopefully get him open. So yeah, if I'm going the first three named on that. And I find usually when people ask, they ask in order of what they like. They
Oh
ask
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they ask
That's
in
right.
order of like what their thing is. Yeah, man. So and no problem, Dollar G. Anytime, man. You can hit us up. Also, like hit us up in the DMs as well. We got a bunch of guys that look up all our different social media platforms. So somebody will get back to you, and we'll do the research for you. So thank you, Dollar G, for asking that question. And yeah, so again, Ridley, Rice, Pickens. That's the way I'm going. Agreed, Sean? Unless
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
yeah, cool. And you know what's cool? You get to watch people play on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always fun. Sometimes that screws me because I'm like, I just want to watch this game. But yeah, so Ridley, Rice, and Pickens are my three there. We got Mark Valencia. That's a nice last name, Mr. Valencia. What are you, Italian? Where are you from, Mr. Mark? You from the Philippines, maybe? Or what are you, French? I don't know, man. Wherever you're from, shout out to you wherever you're watching from. Jaden Reed or Tank Dell? Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Tank Dell. Again, we've been saying this all show. Carolina has a banged up secondary. We're going to double up, and we're going to get a Dollar G CJ Stroud touchdown to Tank Dell.
Okay.
Catch over to Tank Dell. Man, Tank Dell is a boss, bro. He passes the eye test. I love Tank Dell, man. Tank Dell and Nico Collins, I think they're both going to have a really good game.
Yeah. I mean, I like Jaden Reed. I just don't think he's got enough opportunity there just yet. I think he's got the talent, but just as a first-year player, that Packers offense hasn't been anything crazy. And shout out Mr. Filipino Mark Valencia. I like to see that. You love to see it.
Filipino till I die. Maybe we'll do a show in Tagalog one day. Nah, that's never happening. I'm just trolling, man. I'd never be able to speak your language, man. But I really like Filipino people. Y'all, man, Filipino people and Jamaican people and Newfie people. Those are like the three nicest people on the planet, man. I love the Filipinos. Yeah, you guys are sick, bro. All right, man. So it's 11:55. Unless y'all got some more questions, I think we're gonna end the show here. It was a great show. Thank you guys for coming out. Shout out to our sponsor, Tenement Cards. Actually, we just got another endorsement coming in, so your Game Day Goons are moving up in the world of fantasy. We'll let you guys know that as soon as we get it all figured out. But we're going to have another sponsor come join us, which is super exciting for us. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, hitting us up. You guys don't understand how much this means to us. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys follow us at Game Day Goons TV on Instagram, at Game Day Goons on TikTok, and obviously on our YouTube at Game Day Goons. These are your start sets for your Sundays. Good luck on your matchups. Let us know how you did. Like when you guys
let us know if our advice helped you out.
Yeah, man. Like Nathan H, man, you're back every week. Let me know if you won last week. Let me know about your matchup, man. Like we could talk about your matchup too. We do this for you guys, So if you guys have any other questions, if you guys just want to shoot the crap, maybe one day we'll get you guys up on here with us one day. You know what I mean? And we'll do a special thing. I think next year we're working on something for a listeners league, where we're gonna have a couple of our analysts. We'll do a 12-team. We'll have our 4 lead NFL analysts on here, and then maybe we'll get like 8 listeners in there. Maybe we'll do a half and half. And we could do something there, maybe get you guys some free swag. Those are your week 8 start sets. Good luck, guys. Game day. I don't have any muscles. I'm just flexing because I want to flex, bro. I ain't got no muscles. I got more of a double chin than I got my muscles out here. But good luck, Good luck, guys. Hold it down. It was a pleasure. Game Day Goons. We out.
We're out of here, boys. Thank you.